Do you ever just walk down the street and see this incredibly buff bloke and you're just like, whoa, that guy's buff? Me too, and that got me thinking, I wonder if Pokemon experience this as well. So I had a browse of the Pokédex and found there are a whole heap of really buff Pokemon that would surely leave the same impression on other Pokemon in the Pokemon universe. So today we're going to be counting down the top 10 most buff Pokemon. In the number 10 spot is Floatzel. Now you may be wondering, but Playrough, why is Floatzel on this list? It's not really that buff, is it? Well, that's a good point, and I agree with you. I honestly couldn't really find another Pokemon to put in the number 10 spot, so I was like, hey, why not put Floatzel on the number 10 spot? When I Google searched buff Floatzel, I found this image, so I guess you could say Floatzel has the potential to be buff if it goes to the gym a bit more. I don't really know. Yeah, I kind of had writer's block on this one. It's kind of a lost cause, so let's move on to number 9. At the number 9 spot is Electivire. Electivire is buff for one reason and one reason only. If you take a gander at Electivire's Bulbapedia page, you may notice a section called Side Game Data. And in this section, you may also notice Electivire's side game data for Pokepark Wii Pikachu's Adventure. And in this, you will find Electivire's Pokepad entry, which says, Electivire left for the Cavern Zone. The attraction he likes most is Bastiodon's Block Barrage. Another favorite is Rotom's Spooky Shoot 'em Up. Now, I don't really know what this means, or what any of those minigames are, but they sound pretty buff. And that's why Electivire is at number 9. In the number 8 spot is Mega Mewtwo X. Mega Mewtwo X is pretty buff all round. It has a sky-high physical attack stat of 190, and also has access to some pretty buff moves such as Bulk Up. And, yeah, that's pretty much the only real buff move Mega Mewtwo has, but, oh wait, no, it can learn Strength. It can learn Strength, so it has 2 buff moves. And as well as this, if you take a gander at Mewtwo's phrases in Pokemon Red and Blue Rescue Team, you can really see the essence of his buffness. When Mewtwo is between only 1 and 25% of his health, he says, I feel faint. This shouldn't be happening to me. Almost as if he has never been in such a position of weakness like that before. Now that is buffness. Let's move on to number 7. In the number 7 spot is Geodude. Have you guys ever seen a rock with bigger arms than Geodude? Yeah, I didn't think so, because rocks don't have arms. So it'd be kind of weird if you had seen a rock with bigger arms. Yeah, that would be odd. Anyways, Geodude hasn't got the largest muscles, which is why it's only at number 7 on this list, but they still are pretty defined. Plus, Geodude is made of rock, and rocks are hard, and stuff. So that's why it's buff. Let's move on to number 6. In the number 6 spot is Bouffalant. Or should I say Buff-Alant? You get it because his name has a buff sound in it? Bouffalant? Yeah? You get it? Okay. Okay, that wasn't very funny. I'm sorry. Anyways. Not only does the start of Bouffalant's name sound like buff, but its Pokédex entry also makes it seem pretty buff as well. Here's one of them. Their fluffy fur absorbs damage. Wait, that's the wrong one. That does not make it seem very buff. Alright, here's the right Pokédex entry. They charge wildly and headbutt everything. Their headbutts have enough destructive force to derail a train. So despite Bouffalant's fluffy fur, it's a pretty buff dude. It also has access to moves like Strength, Rock Smash, Swagger, Thrash, and worst of all, Leer. In the number 5 spot is Conkeldurr. So the definition of buff is a yellowish beige color. Wait, hold up. Ah, here we go, sorry about that. The definition of buff is a stout, dull, yellow leather with a velvety surface? What? What is Google definitions giving me right now? Am I really counting down the top 10 yellow, leathery, and velvety Pokemon? Wow. I really messed this list up. Well, this is awkward. Wait a second. Okay, here we go. Buff. A person in good physical shape with well-developed muscles. Thank you for giving me the proper definition. And yeah, Conkeldurr pretty much fits that brief perfectly. Look at how big Conkeldurr's arms are. Plus he has weird purple vein things, which I'd assume is another sign of buffness, so yeah, that's why Conkeldurr's at number 4. Wait, he's not at number 4. He's at number 5! Let me redo that. So yeah, that's why Conkeldurr's at number 5. There we go. Now let's move on to number 4. At number 4 is Mega Swampert. As you guys can tell, Mega Swampert is massive. Its forearms are bigger than its head. That's pretty big. The only thing I have against Mega Swampert's buffness is his lower body. He really needs to work on his legs so bad. They're pretty tiny compared to the rest of him. I know this isn't really related, but you can actually visibly see the negative impact this is having on him. Since his tiny prepubescent legs can't support him, he's forced to hunch over, which looks really uncomfortable, and it's probably having negative effects on his back. Look at that hunch Mega Swampert has developed. So for the sake of gaining a higher spot on this list next time, and for Mega Swampert's own personal health, Mega Swampert, please work on your legs. Yours sincerely, Playrough. At the number 3 spot is Hariyama. So Hariyama is a Pokemon based from a sumo wrestler, and sumo wrestlers are pretty buff. And if you guys think Hariyama is all fat and no muscle, let me just read you this Pokédex entry from Pokemon Sapphire. Hariyama's thick body may appear fat, but it is actually a hunk of solid muscle. If this Pokemon bears down and tightens all its muscles, its body becomes as hard as a rock. How many freaking protein shakes did this thing down in one day? That is actually crazy. Hariyama's Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green Pokédex entry says that it stomps on the ground to build power. It can send a 10-ton truck flying with a straight arm punch. I was honestly so shocked when I found out just how buff Hariyama truly is. Hariyama also has access to moves like Bulk Up, Strength, Brick Break, Smackdown, Force Palm, and most importantly, Tickle. In the number 2 spot is Machamp. Do I really need to tell you guys why Machamp is buff? When I look at Machamp, I don't think I can see a single aspect of it that isn't buff. Okay, maybe except for this really weird Machamp sprite I found on Bulbapedia. But other than that, this thing is pure buffness. And I found a pic of him riding a bike. Like, what? I know that's not really relevant, but come on, it's a picture of a Machamp riding a bike. Here's another one I found of Golem riding a bike. Like, how funny is this? Anyways, back onto Machamp. This thing is ripped. If you're a Pokemon and saw a Machamp walking down the street, you would be like, whoa, that Pokemon is buff. And in the number 1 spot, the most buff Pokemon in existence is Igglybuff. Igglybuff has the word buff in its name, so I had to put it at number 1. Yeah, I know, my logic is amazing, but don't worry, there's more. According to Pokemon Sapphire's Pokédex entry, Igglybuff has a soft and plushy body that feels very much like a marshmallow. How much more buff can a Pokemon get? Machamp is nothing to Igglybuff. Mega Swampert is nothing to Igglybuff. Conkeldurr is nothing to Igglybuff. Nothing can even compare. If you're watching this, and you consider yourself to be pretty buff, I just want you to reflect upon what you're saying, take a good look at yourself, then look back at Igglybuff, and maybe, just maybe, you'll understand what it truly means to be buff. So that's going to wrap up today's top 10 video, counting down the top 10 most buff Pokemon. I put a lot of work into this video, so if you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that thumbs up down below, and make sure to subscribe for more content like this. On your screen right now, there should be a video link to one of my other videos, so make sure to check that out as well. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time with another Pokemon video.